Introduction. Dating in the 21st century, where reading between the lines becomes more like decoding the Rosetta Stone, and every text, emoji, and like is a piece of evidence in the case of "Does he like me?" This guide is your detective kit, designed to sift through the complexities of male affection, or lack thereof, featuring everything from text analysis to interpreting the ancient art of social media stalking. Buckle up for a humorous exploration into the signs that he might just be into you, or at the very least, enjoys sending mixed signals for fun. Overanalyzing every text. Let's start with the modern love letter, the text message. If he texts you frequently and replies quickly, it means he thinks about you and wants to stay in touch with you. Unless he's a hacker, then he might just be phishing you. If you find yourself analyzing his texts with the intensity of a forensic scientist examining DNA under a microscope, you're not alone. A simple "hey" at 8 p.m. could mean he's casually thinking of you, or it could mean he's been strategizing all day about the perfect time to send a message that appears casual but is, in fact, a calculated move. And let's not even get started on the use of emojis. A peach emoji isn't just a peach, and you know it. The digital footprint of love. Social media, the window to the soul, or at least to what he ate for lunch last Tuesday. Delving into his social media history is the digital equivalent of accidentally overhearing a conversation about you. But beware, the accidental like on a photo from 2014 is the modern-day equivalent of tripping into his arms. It's startling, slightly embarrassing, and unavoidably revealing of your interest. Does he try to impress you with his skills, talents, or achievements? This means he's proud and ambitious and wants to show you his worth. Unless he's a narcissist, then he might just be bragging. Stumbling into affection. Have you noticed an uptick in his clumsiness or a newfound penchant for stumbling over words when you're around? While it might not be a sign of future Olympic gymnastics, it's certainly a signal that his composure is as affected by your presence as a smartphone's autocorrect is by logic. These moments of awkwardness are not just endearing but are the human equivalent of a peacock's feathers, a display meant to attract, albeit through a series of stutters and spills. If he gives you gifts or surprises, it means he's generous and thoughtful and wants to make you happy. Unless he's a thief, then he might just be returning your stuff. If he remembers the details of your conversations and brings them up later, this means he pays attention to you and values your opinions. Unless he's a detective, then he might just be investigating you. Interpreting group dynamics. The dynamics within a group setting can tell you more than 1,000 one-on-one conversations. Does he always end up next to you, or does his voice pitch higher when he addresses you, possibly mimicking the complex mating calls of the animal kingdom? This section is less about being in the friend zone and more about recognizing when you're being subtly singled out from the pack. Does he make eye contact with you and holds your gaze? This means he's confident and interested in you and wants to connect with you. Unless he's a hypnotist, then he might just be mesmerizing you. Does he tease you playfully and jokes around with you? This means he's fun and friendly and likes to make you laugh. Unless he's a bully, then he might just be harassing you. If he smiles at you a lot, this means he's happy to see you and enjoys your company. Unless he's a dentist, then he might just be checking your teeth. He compliments you on your appearance, personality, or skills. This means he appreciates you and finds you attractive. Unless he's a salesman, then he might just be trying to sell you something. If he touches you gently on the arm, shoulder, or hand, this means he's comfortable with you and wants to be closer to you. Unless he's a chiropractor, then he might just be adjusting your spine. He invites you to hang out with him and his friends. It means he likes you enough to introduce you to his social circle. Unless he's a cult leader, then he might just be recruiting you. The old school signs still apply. Despite the digital age revolutionizing the way we communicate, some age-old signs never go out of fashion. Remember, if he's making more eye contact with you than his phone, you're probably onto something. And if he remembers that story you told about your childhood pet goldfish, congratulations, you're officially more interesting than the entirety of the internet to him. If he asks you questions about yourself and listens to your answers, this means he's interested in you and wants to know more about you. Unless he's a journalist, then he might just be looking for a scoop. If he laughs at your jokes, even the bad ones, this means he has a good sense of humor and likes your style. Unless he's a comedian, then he might just be stealing your material. Does he shows up at places where you are, or invites you to places where he is? This means he's adventurous and spontaneous and wants to spend time with you. Unless he's a stalker, then he might just be following you. These classic signs are the human equivalent of a nature documentary's mating dance, and just as fascinating to observe. The ultimate sign, just ask. After all is said and done, the most telling sign of interest might just be the most terrifying, direct communication. The only way to be certain is to communicate with him honestly and openly. If he feels the same way, then great, you've found a partner. If he doesn't, then don't fret, there are plenty of other guys out there. In a world where we've become accustomed to hiding behind screens and interpreting likes as if they're ancient hieroglyphs, the idea of simply asking, "Hey, do you like me?" is as daunting as it is revolutionary. But remember, amidst the complexities of human interaction, sometimes the boldest move is the simplest one. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.